Hi everybody, it is Chrissy from Knitting in the Heights. This is a knitting and crafting podcast coming to you from New York City. So for those of you that have been watching a long time, I missed a month. I was actually debating not even coming back, to be honest with you. And then I got a lovely email from one of the people who has been watching my channel for a very long time, just wondering where Gabe and I are. Well, where we've been is in New York City, and my job has gotten absolutely insanely crazy. But I figured I'd come on and shortly catch you guys up to all of my crafting. So I'm just going to open a Diet Coke and we'll get started. So today is Sunday, September the 29th, I believe. And it's been a long time since I've caught up with you guys. I think I had just gotten back from Montreal in July. And in July, we had just so much going on at the school where I'm the executive director. I ended up doing quite a bit of teaching this summer, which was absolutely delightful and fun. And I got to do some new things actually in my teaching, which was great. It's also the time of year where we do budgets because the new fiscal year was coming up. So it's just been really busy. We also just started our school year. We are 3 weeks in now, and yeah, we have a whole new crop of folks that have joined us at the school and a lot of new adult programming. And so I've just been real busy working on all of that. But in the meantime, I have been crafting, and I did have a fun weekend in Salem, Massachusetts with one of my best friends who I've known since college days. She was doing her master's while I was doing my doctorate at the University of Colorado. So I'll pop in some footage at the end. We went to Salem, Massachusetts, and we found a yarn store, and it's kind of like the best kind of yarn store you could imagine, because not only does it have yarn and all sorts of crafty goodness, but it has tarot cards and oracle cards. It's my favorite kind of yarn store. Anyway, so let's take a look at some of the things I have been working on and have finished since I last saw you. So the first thing I'm going to pull out is a sweater that it's a cardigan I made for myself. It is a really cool cardigan. I'll put it on actually. Ugh. And it is by Libby Johnston. Put the name down below. And what I did, it's a striped cardigan. I wanted to make the bust a little bit bigger when I first started it, and then proceeded to lose 20 pounds. So it's a little bit on the big side, but that's okay. And I love it. It's knit in Knit Pick Stroll fingering, which is the baby blue that is held throughout. And it is also using Lay Family Yarns Advent Calendar. It was the Rainbow Chronicles one. I think that was from 2021 maybe. So it's really cool. I love how it gradiated all the colors of the Advent down. It was a really interesting knit. I realize I get bored when things are just stockinette, but that's okay. I do like doing decreases and things like that, and increases to make things a little bit more fun. I put in some cool little wooden buttons, and I have yet to block it. So I have worn it out in the wild at least once, and I did wear it. We had a teacher orientation training day, and I ended up with something that took me to the hospital the day before. I'm fine. It was a skin thing, but it was uncomfortable to say the least. And so I had to actually have a minor surgery to deal with it. It came out of nowhere. It was like basically a boil. It was gross. But it was in a place that nobody wants to have a boil. And so I ended up doing the teacher orientation from my bed via Zoom, and I wore this sweater over my PJs, which is kind of funny. But it is yet to be blocked. So yeah, it is yet to be blocked, and but I do love it. The yarn is really nice. I'm not 100% happy with the fit, and that's just because I kept going. I made this like way too deep an arm side. But it's fine. It's going to be one of those really cozy, just throw on around the house, or even take it to work and just have it in case I feel chilly. The colors are glorious. I really do enjoy them. And I really loved how this twisted rib came out. Because I was going back and forth, it was really funny. Like, I had to do something interesting with that. It's like, because I did a twisted rib, but it's like on the opposite side, I didn't twist it. So it kind of creates this really cool effect in the twisted rib, and I liked it a lot. So I tried to replicate that on the sleeves. And I think I did. My little sleeves are pretty short. But yeah, I was rather done with this when I got to the point of being done. But here are all the buttons. And it really just needs a nice block to kind of even it out. But the colors are glorious. The yarn is really beautiful. I have tons of the Lay Family yarn left over. And I do have basically, I think 200 grams of the stroll fingering left over. And so in a little bit, I'll talk about what I will do with that. So yeah, so I'm done with this cardigan that I've been wanting to knit for literal years. So let's go on to the next finished object. This is the Lovebirds sweater. It is knit in the 2-year-old size. I'll put the pattern information down below. I have blocked it, and it's for a little girl that I just met. It's actually one of our teacher / administrator's daughters. The whole it's like the whole family kind of works at the school. So he and his wife both work in our jazz program, and his brother works in the jazz program, but his brother also does some administrative work for us. But this little girl is just so sweet. And she's 7 months old, and she's really tall for her age because they are all very tall in their family. But I was just really wanting to do a colorwork sweater. But since I'm on this kind of weight loss journey, I did not want to knit something that was way too big for myself again, or would be, or too small or anything. I'm kind of saving sweaters for myself for a little bit later till I've kind of settled in whatever weight I'm going to settle in. Because, yeah, I mean, I've lost 20 pounds pretty quickly since July, actually. So, anyhow, let's talk about what the yarn is. This creamy yarn and this kind of mustardy yellow yarn are both from a Yarn Advent. I think, I don't even know which one it is, to be honest with you. They were from a Yarn Advent, or they were mini skeins from someplace. I'm not sure where, but the colors are really pretty. And then I do know that this kind of rusty orange that I finished everything off in, that is a leftover from, Sparrow, is it Sweet Sparrow? Yeah, Sweet Sparrow Yarns. I think I got that Yarn Advent in 2019. And I'm pretty sure that's when it was from. But yeah, it was this really pretty orangey color. And all of those colors were in the speckled yarn. And what was cool about the speckled yarn is it was a leftover. So it probably had like 49 grams in this skein. It was from a Nora George Yarns Advent calendar. It was the 25th day skein. And I had made a pair of socks with it a long time ago. And it's called Faithful Friends. And I just love this yarn. And I thought all the colors are picked up in the speckles. And I just thought it would be really sweet for a sweet little girl. So yeah, so I'll be giving this to her parents probably tomorrow, because I did block it this weekend and it's ready to roll. And I'm really happy with it. And I was actually very surprised that there weren't more little sweaters made with this pattern. It's a beautifully written pattern. The color work charts are really easy to follow. Highly recommend if you're looking for something for a little kiddo that is really sweet. Okay, now let's get into my works in progress. So there's one if you've been here before, you know I'm fairly monogamous actually in my knitting. I try not to be, but it never works out. I end up casting on all the things and then just working on one project until it's done. I can sometimes do two, but I like things getting done. So I get stressed out if I have a lot of works in progress. And one of my goals that I had for the last 2 years actually, or year and a half so far, is to basically finish up all my whips. And I've been doing that. You know, I have been casting on things here and there, like that The Lovebird sweater was cast on in July, and it was so nice to cast that little thing on. But it was also small, so I knew I'd get it done soon. I had cast this one on in December, so it was a newer cast on, but I do have some old whips that I'm trying to work through. So last year I had cast on the Huddling Penguins hat, and I knit one. I actually knit one, and it turned out way too small for Gabriel. So actually the little girl that's getting this sweater has the little hat. I gave it to her parents after she was born, as kind of like a gift from the school. But I've been working on a Huddling Penguins hat for Gabriel in a larger size. And I am at the decreases. And I have been working monogamously on this since I finished that sweater. So that feels really positive, actually, because I know I'm going to get this hat done probably in the next 24 hours. But here we go. So here's the Huddling Penguins hat. I'll put the information below so you can look it up on Ravelry. It is a paid for pattern. Many of my patterns are paid for patterns. It's not reading the color as true to life as it is. So when it's in the light, it's teal green, like a dark purple and a navy blue at the top. And that is Drops Delight. Let me see if I can find the tag. Drops Delight print, and the colorway is 09. And it's supposed to look like an Aurora Borealis, which is why I chose this color. And then the rest of it is knit in Drops Nord. And I don't know if I have the tags, but it's like a very light gray and a charcoal gray. It's not white and black. It's because I don't like, black is hard for me to see. It's looking black on my screen, but it is like the darkest charcoal gray. And you got a nice little Latvian braid. So what I did with this was I knit. So they tell you to knit the, I knit the adult size for Gabriel, because when I knit the child size, it turned out baby size. So for my gauge, knitting the adult size was right. I mean, Gabe has like a big head just like I do. And this way he can wear it for years, basically knitting an adult size. So I've just started the decreases, and it's probably something like 25 rounds until I'm done, but given it's going to get smaller and smaller at the end, I think this will be done actually tonight. So yeah, I'm really excited to have this ready for Gabriel for the cold weather. I'll give it a good block. I'm going to give it to him on his birthday. His birthday is November 6th. So this will be put away for his birthday present, one of his birthday presents this year. And he's been looking forward to it because he saw me knitting the other one, and he loves penguins. He saw me knitting the other one, and he was so bummed that he didn't get it because it was so small. So let's talk about my other works in progress, and it's just more of an update. I don't know that I've even knit on them since I've seen you last, but just so you see some of the things. I have been knitting more on the train, and I've been trying to find ways to do things where I can knit on the train. So one of the things I do have ready to put in my purse after this penguin hat is done is the pillow I've been working on. So just as a reminder, it's a pillow cover. Right now it's this size. It's going to stretch out a little bit. It'll be a small throw pillow. It's not going to be very big. It's using all sorts of like leftover stash, like yarn in my stash. And it's like the little bits of yarn, right? So I'm just doing that. It's a simple increase in 4 corners. And then I had added just a little tab so that I could make a button thing. I have a bunch of yarn in here I can use for this, and right now this is where I'm at. I'm using sparkle yarn and non-sparkle yarn, using all the fun stitch markers, that kind of thing. So yeah, so that's just a real simple project that I think will become like my purse knitting on the train, because that's probably the most simple thing I have after the hat is done, because I can't do color work on a train. I can do socks, probably vanilla socks on a train. I can do like a sleeve or the round of a baby sweater on a train, because like as long as it's stockinette, that's easy, because a lot of times I do knit standing up. Actually, if I'm leaning, sometimes you can get that corner, like there's a corner at the end of a train and you can like lean up against 2 walls and actually stand and knit. Today I was actually knitting standing up for a while at the laundromat on the hat, because again it was just around and around. But it is harder for me to do other things. I can do rib, but you know, color work is not gonna happen. But I did find myself on the baby sweater actually knitting knitting that on a train. And I think, did I bring this? This is a bigger project, so the bigger projects can be harder to knit just on a subway journey. But yeah, like as far as something simple back and forth, that's fine. The other thing, this I did cast on my way to Montreal. There has been a little bit of work on it. These are my socks that I've been working on. They are a pattern sock pattern. I will put the pattern and designer down below. And I am on the gusset, and I'm using all leftover yarns, which are really nice. The main color is Believe from Craft House Magic. And this leftover, I used it in my So Faded sweater, so I'll look it up and put that on the screen as well, because I cannot remember what it is off the top of my head, but very, very pretty yarn. I do like this pattern a lot, and because I was using this as travel knitting, I did have to write down the pattern, and I put it on an envelope from the hotel we stayed at in Montreal. So I just wrote it down. This one is a free pattern. But I'll show you. It's got cables and lace, which are always really nice. Again, not the easiest subway knitting unless I'm going really far. I don't find a 25 to 30 minute subway journey far enough to do this. Yeah. And then I did a partridge heel, which I hadn't done in a really long time. So that was fun to do. Cool. So yeah, so I like that. So this is one of those ones, there's no deadline on it. You know, I have a lot of socks. I do kind of need to refresh my sock collection, but you know, I'll kind of do it whenever I get a chance. I find this to be good car knitting if I'm going on a long car journey or a long train ride. And this year for the holidays, we are traveling down to Virginia. So this might actually be a really nice one for that. Cool. Let's see what else I have. I have two more. I only have two more whips actually. And then except for my crochet blankets, which is the Battenberg blanket, I found by even doing 1 or 2 squares, it was causing tendonitis problems for me. So for now, that is completely on hiatus. If there is a baby that is about to be born and I need a present, then I'll pull that out and go ahead and do that for them. But right now, it's not a thing that I need to worry about. So the next whip that I have is this shawl that I've been working on for like 2 years or more. I haven't touched it in a while, but this will be something I will be pulling out as something that is more complicated knitting. So I'm on the lace border at this stage. I'll put the shawl pattern. It's the Golden Oak shawl by Nim Teasdale. And it's on the lace border. And that's the only reason why. I had messed up the lace at one point, and I was like, do I want to pull it back? And I said, just put it in a bag. And I was looking at it the other day, and it looks like whatever mistakes I had made, it looks like I corrected them. So I think I can just move forward with it. But what I find is with color work knitting and with lace knitting, that is something I can sit and watch TV on my computer with, because I can put the chart right underneath where I'm watching. And that is kind of a nice way for me to do it, and I can get through it fairly quickly. It's not something I can do while traveling at all, and I don't have a lot of other knitting time. It's like I'm chilling at night or on the weekend. And so this will be one of the things that comes out rather soon, once this penguin hat is done with. So that might be something I do at nights or on a weekend and just pull it out on weekends or in the evenings when I'm like binge watching movies or various shows. So the yarn on this one is, they're single ply yarns. One is Turion by Sweet Sparrow Yarns. It's a single ply. And the other one is Dried Blood and Roses by Murky Depths Yarn. And I had given this to myself as a birthday present and cast it on that day. This was from this is a club colorway. So I don't think she sells this color anymore, but it is coming out to be a really pretty shawl. The plan is, I think, a shawl for me, actually. Needles, needles. So the last whip that I have is the Knit Along by Stephen West from 2022, I believe. The Twist and Turn shawl. And I'm still in clue 1 after all this time. It's all set up. This is something that once I remind myself, it's a simple repeat. In general, this could become train knitting actually. Once I just get it set up and, you know, I could put like little notes on my phone because you just do this thing over and over. That could be train knitting, or I can just wait until the other shawl is done. But, you know, we'll see. So the colors I'm using for this, the yarns I'm using for this are, the first one is These Days. That's the silvery color. It's hard to see in this light, but it does have pops of chartreuse in it. And it's sparkle. Oh, there you can see the chartreuse. Sparkle. And then Ash from a Homespun House. These are very deep. This is very deep stash, by the way. And then the last one is Come On Eileen, also from Craft House Magic as the color. It's like this, it's like spring green, yellowy kind of color. Yeah, it's a really, really cool color. So anyhow, I have plenty of yarn to make this. I will have leftovers of everything. I don't know what I'm going to make with it after that, though. Who knows? Who knows? So anyway, so that is my last actual WIP besides the Battenberg blanket, which I'm not going to give any love to anytime soon. But I did want to tell you a little bit about one project that I have kitted up and ready to go. So I've told myself, don't make your kids any sweaters because they keep growing. Well, Colleen has stopped growing quite a bit and she really wants a sweater. So I talked to her stepmom. I'm like, would you help take care of this thing if I make it? And then I was thinking, do I want to do a full-blown sweater for her? Because now, like that sweater I made her 3 years ago, she outgrew it in less than like 3 months. So yeah, I don't know that I want to do that right now. But I was like, you know, she really likes halter tops and that would be kind of a quick knit. And she, you know, it's like the halter top where you should kind of show your belly kind of thing. And she's of that age, being 14 now. So I was like, you know, maybe I could do that. I have leftovers from this and her favorite color is kind of this baby blue. So I have plenty of stroll fingering. So I thought that, and then in the pattern, and I'll put it down below, it's by Dragon Horde Yarns. In the pattern, it has a contrast for the neck and tie in the back for the halter portion. So I thought that'd be really fun. I think, you know, it's kind of keeping with the blue theme that she really likes. Yeah. And it's sparkle. This one's sparkle. This is leftover from Dandelion and Dogwoods. One of their advent calendars from, I don't know when, 2021 probably. 2021 or 2020. I don't know. I honestly don't know what year I did it, but that's another one that could become train knitting actually, because it's a lot of around and around in a rib stitch until you like split stuff for stuff. Like you split for the sleeves and stuff, and then it's back and forth for a long time. So yeah, so I'm trying to like figure out like my balance between my at-home knitting when I'm watching something, because I do find stockinette super boring when I'm doing that, but I love a stockinette or a garter stitch when I'm traveling. So I'm trying to find that nice balance, because then I could do 2 projects at a time because I'd have different purposes for them. The last thing I was going to show you is I do have a sneaky acquisition. I mean, I am somebody who is a fan of getting yarn when I'm out and about in the world, when I'm doing traveling. And I couldn't come away from Salem, Massachusetts without some yarn. And it kind of had to do, like when I saw this yarn, first of all, this yarn is made in Salem. It's dyed in Salem. And the shop is, I'll put the name of the shop below. But it's a really, really cool shop. I mean, I'm not joking. If you're in Salem, Massachusetts, you got to check this place out. But it is, yeah, it's called Toil and Trouble is the name of the company. And I settled on these 2 because I thought they would make a glorious 2-color shawl or 2-color something at some point. I also got a skein for Josh. because he's a bit of a witch too. Anyway, the first one is this one. It's called The Music Makers. How could I pass that up? So how could I ignore this yarn if it's called The Music Makers? It's funny because I wrote some books back in the day when I was doing more of that kind of stuff as a professor. And long story short, it was about chamber music pedagogy. Okay, how to teach chamber music to people, and specifically about how you can choose the appropriate music if people are different levels. Okay, so there's 3 volumes in the set. It's actually on Amazon if you're interested. But anyway, we called it The Music Makers, volume 1, 2, and 3. So anyway, the fact that this is called The Music Makers, I couldn't pass that up. But then this one also went with it and had a very witchy name. This is Seance. And they're both the same base. They're both superwash, 75-25 basically. There's a lot of yardage in these guys. So yeah, I mean, this could be something really cool. I don't know what it'll become, but it'll become something at some point. And if you've ever looked, like I have in the past updated my stash on Ravelry. And I haven't put a lot of the new stuff in there, but like when I look back at all the things the colors I tend to gravitate towards, it's like these colors, teals and purples. Yeah. So, I mean, it's hard to tell that from, but I am very much a teal kind of girl, a purple kind of girl, a witchy kind of girl. Anyhow, so I think that's it for my knitting stuff. I want to thank you guys for sticking around. I want to thank you for encouraging me to come back on. I will not be doing Vlogtober this year because I am doing Vlogtober for the school that I work at. So if you are interested in just seeing what gets on, what Gabe and I get up to at the school, because I'm sure you'll see him there too, because he's there 5 days a week, sometimes 6. You can head over to that channel and check us out and see what we're doing. Those will be very short. I don't want those to be long. But yeah, I might check in with you in October. Josh is doing great. Josh is also working at my school now, and he's been knitting up a storm. And yeah, we're planning a cast on, I think on October 31st on Halloween. We're going to both cast on shawls that have some brioche in them. My plan is to do the Exploration Station, which has been in my queue since time immemorial. I've had the yarn for, oh gosh, probably close to 8 years now. So anyway, thank you again so much for joining me from New York City. I'll see you again next time. Bye, everybody.
I put a spell on you, and now you're mine. You can't stop the things I do, and it's been 300 years, right down today. Now the witch is back, and there's hell to pay. I put a spell on you, and now you're. I put a spell on you, and now you're gone. So long I want me to follow you, and it was strong. Your Rachel lives half-holding curse, 'cause if only we're just like him, I'm the worst. I put a spell on you, and now you're mine. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Shenanigans, if you don't. Your arms around me, well, I'm not surprised that you're on my mind. Feels like you're moving on just fine.
Bathing suits, deck chairs creak and groan and wait. The ocean snores, raises white eyebrows.